For generations, Russia believed it possessed an advantage no enemy could ever steal. Not a weapon, not an army, not even territory, a force of nature, an invisible commander that arrived every year without orders, without mercy, and without fail. A force that shattered invaders, froze ambitions, and rewrote the outcome of wars. General Winter. But this war is different. Russia is no longer defending its soil. It is advancing across another nation's land. And in Ukraine, the ancient protector of Russian power has turned into its executioner. According to United 24 Media, reporting on January 23rd, Ukrainian forces from the 7th Army Corps continue to hold critical positions around Pokrovsk and Myrnohrad. Despite months of Russian declarations claiming control, northern sections of both cities remain under Ukrainian authority. Yet Russia's failure here is not being driven by Ukrainian firepower alone. The cold is doing what artillery cannot. Temperatures have plunged, supply chains have fractured, and Russian soldiers are now facing an enemy that does not retreat, negotiate, or miss. General Winter has arrived, and this time, Russia stands in its path. The assessment comes from Volodymyr Polovyi, head of strategic communications for Ukraine's 7th Army Corps. In a public statement, Polovyi confirmed Ukrainian positions remain intact while outlining a growing collapse on the Russian side. Operational data and intelligence reporting indicate that Russian offensive capacity is degrading, he wrote. Adverse weather conditions, combined with a systemic disregard for personnel welfare, are key contributors. This degradation is everywhere. Vehicles stall and die in frozen terrain. Fuel thickens and becomes unusable. Supply convoys fail to arrive. Communications falter. An army designed to overwhelm through numbers is being slowed to a crawl by temperature alone. Polovyi describes a stark contrast between the two sides. Ukrainian troops are entrenched. They operate from fortified positions equipped with shelter, insulation, heating systems, and reliable resupply. Units rotate regularly, limiting exposure and exhaustion. That preparation matters. The BBC reports that temperatures in Donetsk dropped to -14 degrees Celsius, just under 7 degrees Fahrenheit, during the early hours of January 27th. These are not brief cold snaps. This is sustained, punishing winter. Ukraine anticipated it. Russia did not. Russian assault troops advance without vehicles, carrying only what fits on their backs. A thin sleeping mat, a bag that traps little heat, a blanket that offers false comfort. Sometimes a small stove, useless if lit. Any attempt to generate warmth exposes them instantly. Ukrainian drones equipped with thermal imaging patrol the night sky. A single spark of heat becomes a target. Fires cannot be lit. Shelters cannot be reinforced. Movement must continue, even as bodies fail. Frozen ground prevents digging. Frozen hands lose dexterity. Frozen limbs stop responding. Hypothermia doesn't announce itself. It arrives quietly, first as numbness, then confusion, then sleep. And sleep means death. Russian commanders continue ordering assaults regardless. What once were massed attacks have degraded into scattered, weakened pushes that collapse before reaching Ukrainian lines. The Institute for the Study of War documents this stagnation clearly. On January 24th, Russian forces attacked toward Pokrovsk and achieved nothing. On January 25th, they attacked again and still gained no ground. Winter has stripped momentum from Russia's offensive. The army advances, but the front line does not move. This is not how General Winter was supposed to work. Historically, it crushed Russia's enemies. Napoleon learned this when his Grand Army disintegrated during its retreat from Moscow. Hitler learned it when Operation Barbarossa collapsed under mud, ice, and frost. Sweden learned it in the 18th century, losing nearly half its invading force before Poltava, and its empire soon after. For centuries, Russia survived by letting winter fight on its behalf. Now Russia is experiencing the same punishment, but as the invader. Ukraine holds its ground while nature does the rest. And what Russia is sending into this frozen battlefield reveals just how desperate the situation has become. On January 23rd, Army Inform reported that Ukrainian troops have adopted a new term for Russian assault units on the Pokrovsk axis: disposables. According to Volodymyr Chernyak of Ukraine's Rubish Brigade, thousands of Russian soldiers are pushed forward under threats of execution. Minor injuries become fatal. Evacuation is slow, unreliable, or non-existent. Men bleed, then freeze. This neglect existed long before winter arrived. The Center for European Policy Analysis previously documented Russia's failure to prioritize battlefield medicine. A military doctor speaking to the Transformer Telegram channel revealed that soldiers often receive no first aid training whatsoever. Wounded troops wait days or weeks for extraction, if it comes at all. A Verska investigation later confirmed that more than 5% of Russian soldiers who could have survived instead died due to abandonment and lack of care. Winter magnifies every failure. Snow slows movement. Mud traps vehicles. Cold drains energy faster than combat. A wounded soldier who might survive in summer now has minutes, not hours. Russia's logistical response has been minimal. Many troops operate without vehicles. Supplies are inconsistent. Equipment shortages persist. As early as December 2022, CNN reported that Russian soldiers relied on crowdfunding to obtain boots, body armor, and basic protection. By late 2025, little had changed. According to the Telegraph, Russian troops north of Pokrovsk were deployed without helmets or armor. In one documented attack, only a fraction of assault groups wore protective gear at all. Bare heads in sub-zero temperatures lose heat rapidly. Frostbite sets in. Awareness drops. Reaction time slows. Russia attempted a solution. New tents were issued. They were not shelters. They were thin, upright privacy covers, wearable fabric structures offering no insulation. Captured footage shows Russian soldiers struggling to walk as wind lifts the material, blinding them and exposing them further. Militarny reports these may have been intended to reduce visual or thermal detection. In practice, they turn soldiers into slow, freezing silhouettes, easily spotted, easily destroyed. Desperation has led to darker measures. Defense Express documented at least one instance of a Russian soldier being ordered to stand motionless as a living antenna, acting as a relay for drone communications. Human infrastructure, human equipment, human expendability. The human cost is visible in who Russia is now sending. According to Kiev Post journalist Stefan Korshak, Russia's remaining elite cold weather units are either dead or deliberately withheld from frontline combat. Instead, Ukraine captures convicts, foreign mercenaries, middle-aged recruits, and elderly men. These are not troops built for winter warfare, Korshak notes. Mediazona data supports this reality. The most common age among confirmed Russian battlefield deaths is now between 46 and 52. Aging bodies fail faster in extreme cold. Joints stiffen. Circulation weakens. Recovery slows. General Winter does not care. The final fracture is morale. On January 6th, United 24 Media reported that Russian officers on the Pokrovsk front began submitting mass requests for reassignment. They want rear positions, support roles, anywhere away from the frozen line. High command responded with threats. But requests alone reveal collapse. Some officers will not wait for approval. They will flee. And as they run from winter, Ukraine will be there. The stalled front lines at Pokrovsk and Myrnohrad are not anomalies. They are symptoms. Across Ukraine, Russia's offensives are slowing, freezing, and failing. The empire that once survived by winter now bleeds because of it. General Winter has switched sides. And this time, Ukraine is letting nature finish the job. But winter's damage to Russia does not end with frozen limbs and stalled assaults. It continues in places cameras rarely reach. Command bunkers, rear staging zones, and the long, exposed routes that connect the front to whatever remains of Russia's logistical backbone. Cold does not simply slow armies. It reorganizes them. Fuel that flows easily in warmer months thickens in sub-zero temperatures. Diesel gels. Engine seize. Batteries lose charge faster than they can be replaced. Radios cut out. Night vision optics fail. Drones lose lift as motors struggle against the dense, frozen air. For a military that relies heavily on aging equipment and improvised repairs, winter exposes every weakness at once. Russian supply convoys now face delays measured not in hours, but in days. Trucks break down far from repair crews. Recovery vehicles cannot reach them. Roads degrade into ice-slicked corridors where a single accident can block movement entirely. This matters more than it sounds. An army on the offensive consumes supplies at a brutal pace. Ammunition, fuel, food, medical gear, all must arrive continuously. When they do not, commanders face a choice: halt operations or push soldiers forward without support. Russia has chosen the latter. This decision compounds the human cost already unfolding at the front. Troops arrive exhausted before combat begins. Weapons malfunction. Artillery fire becomes sporadic. Wounded soldiers wait longer for evacuation because vehicles are unavailable or frozen in place. The cold is no longer just killing soldiers. It is hollowing out Russia's ability to function as an army. Ukraine, by contrast, uses winter to compress the battlefield. Frozen terrain limits Russia's maneuver options, forcing assaults into predictable corridors that Ukrainian forces can monitor and pre-target. Snow reveals movement. Ice amplifies sound. Darkness favors defenders equipped with thermal optics and fixed positions. Winter narrows the fight, and Ukraine controls the narrowed space. As Russian assaults fail repeatedly, the Kremlin's response has not been adaptation, but acceleration. More men are sent forward. Less training is provided. Preparation time shrinks. Replacement units arrive with no understanding of terrain, no coordination with neighboring formations, and no experience operating in extreme cold. This creates a vicious cycle. Inexperienced troops make mistakes. Mistakes lead to casualties. Casualties increase pressure to replace losses quickly. Replacement troops are even less prepared than those they replace. Winter feeds on this spiral. The psychological impact is severe. Soldiers speak of numbness not just in their bodies, but in their thinking. Fear becomes constant. Sleep becomes fragmented. Decision-making slows. Simple tasks feel overwhelming. Cold strips away resilience. Discipline erodes quietly. Units fragment. Orders are followed mechanically, not strategically. Initiative disappears. Soldiers conserve energy instinctively, avoiding movement, avoiding exposure, avoiding risk, even when ordered to advance. This is not mutiny. It is physiological collapse. At higher levels, command cohesion begins to fracture. Reports from the front grow inconsistent. Casualty numbers lag behind reality. Equipment losses go unrecorded. Commanders receive incomplete information and issue orders based on conditions that no longer exist. Winter introduces delay into every decision loop. By the time an order reaches the front, the situation has already changed, often fatally. Russia's traditional advantage, tolerance for suffering, becomes a liability in these conditions. Endurance without adaptation turns into attrition without purpose. Soldiers are consumed faster than gains can justify, and winter shows no urgency. Weather forecasts offer no relief. Cold persists. Wind intensifies exposure. Snow conceals hazards. Ice punishes every misstep. The battlefield becomes less about tactics and more about survival. For Ukrainian forces, this imbalance creates opportunity, not through reckless counterattacks, but through patience. Holding ground becomes enough. Every failed Russian push costs manpower Russia cannot easily replace. Ukraine allows winter to exhaust the enemy. Time becomes a weapon. As days pass, frostbite cases accumulate. Medical capacity stretches thinner. Soldiers removed from the front due to cold injuries often never return. Unlike gunshot wounds, frost damage lingers. Nerves die. Circulation fails. Amputations follow. These are permanent losses. A soldier who survives winter combat may still be lost to the war. Behind the scenes, Russia faces another problem winter intensifies: visibility. Satellite imagery tracks movement more clearly against snow. Heat signatures stand out. Damaged infrastructure cannot be concealed easily. Improvised positions become obvious from above. Winter removes camouflage through contrast. Ukraine exploits this relentlessly. Every failed concealment attempt increases Russian losses. Every exposed staging area becomes a target. Every attempt to regroup under inadequate cover invites detection. The cold leaves nowhere to hide. As the months progress, the cumulative effect becomes unmistakable. Russian advances slow not because of a single defeat, but because the system itself degrades. Units arrive under strength. Commanders rotate out faster. Equipment availability drops. Morale thins. Winter does not destroy armies quickly. It dismantles them gradually. And this is where the historical parallel becomes most uncomfortable for Moscow. In past wars, Russia survived winter because it fought on interior lines, defending territory, retreating strategically, absorbing losses while the enemy froze far from home. In Ukraine, Russia has none of those advantages. Its troops freeze on foreign soil. Its supply lines stretch outward, not inward. Its losses are felt immediately, not deferred. General Winter has no loyalty. It favors whoever prepares. Ukraine prepared. Russia assumed. That assumption now costs lives every night. As the front remains static and the cold persists, the pressure shifts inward, from the battlefield to the Kremlin. Each failed assault demands explanation. Each stalled sector undermines the narrative of momentum. Each frozen casualty contradicts claims of control. Winter exposes truth. And the truth is this: Russia cannot brute force its way through climate, logistics, and human limits simultaneously. The longer winter holds, the more the balance tilts. Ukraine does not need to rush victory. Winter is already doing the work. General Winter has not betrayed Russia out of malice. It has simply followed the same rule it always has. Those who invade unprepared will be punished. This time, Russia is learning that lesson the hard way.